House Committee on the Judiciary is introducing two articles of impeachment charging the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, with committing high crimes and misdemeanors. The first article is for abuse of power. It is an impeachable offense for the President to exercise the powers of his public office to obtain an improper personal benefit while ignoring or injuring the national interest. That is exactly what President Trump did when he solicited and pressured Ukraine to interfere in our 2020 presidential election, thus damaging our national security, undermining the integrity of the next election, and violating his oath to the American people. And when he was caught, when the House investigated and opened an impeachment inquiry, President Trump engaged in unprecedented, categorical, and indiscriminate defiance of the impeachment inquiry. This gives rise to the second article of impeachment for obstruction of Congress. Here, too, we see a familiar pattern in President Trump's misconduct.
Welcome. I'm Senator Isadore Hall.
I'm Nikki Flores.
And you are at the Intersections. We've been gone for a couple of weeks, but we are back and live.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Welcome back. So you're listening to The Voice of Reason on Dash, and we're broadcasting live from VibeFreeTV.tv right here in the great city of Inglewood. Thank you for joining in. We want to hear your comments as we are going through some unprecedented times right now. Obviously, as you know, a nation under crises. And as you heard, and as you probably already know, even right now as we speak today, this president in the White House is going to be impeached. And so we want to hear your comments. We want to hear what you have to say. Right now, this is a nation under siege. Mm-hmm. What do you say, Nikki?
About impeachment? It's going to happen. Now we see for sure it's going to happen.
Yeah.
There was a lot of foot dragging because the things that he has done that are impeachable are things that he's been doing the entire time that he's been in office. So I've been saying, like, if it's that serious, we need to go ahead and impeachment, whether it's going to be a political hit where, oh no, we impeached him, so then the next election is going to be a problem for us. Like, that's not how you make decisions for the future. They really, finally, Nancy Pelosi decided there was no way around it, and she did what she did, and now, and he wilding, sending 6-page letters.
Well, I mean, he is so concerned, in my opinion, about his legacy that doesn't exist.
His legacy is over.
His legacy is over, and if there is a legacy, I think it's a legacy that's built on corruption.
Man.
I mean, let's be real about it. I mean,
we don't have those tax returns, which we're gonna get with this.
We're going to get eventually. Which, by the way, he said when he was running that he would release them.
Right.
And he's done everything he could on every turn to try to block the people of America from gaining access to his tax returns. Then another issue that's even going on as we speak in this impeachment, particularly because we weren't here last week and the week before when we could have discussed what was going on in the House. Mm-hmm. You had some members of Congress, Republican members of Congress, that were complicit, in my opinion, right, in this impeachment process, basically saying they really didn't care and don't care whether he committed a crime or not. And so they themselves violated their oath of office to the American people.
Continuously. Every day of that hearing, every Republican got up there and was like, well, this is just silly. I don't know why we would be even bringing it. Like, really?
Right.
None of them were like, this is wrong. Well, he was wrong for this. But, we riding for him. They won't even be honest.
Well, I mean, come on. They tried to impeach President Barack Obama for wearing a tan suit.
Right.
Right. You remember that? You remember they drugged him? Disrespectful. And so now we have Trump that is committing flagrant fouls. I mean, just the guy is this guy. I've never seen anything like it. And then you have.
And he's old. He knows about the Cold War.
Come on. Come on.
Well, what?
Well,
Russia ain't never been our homie. We not cool with Russia. You might be
Russia
cool with Russia.
Is not our
America
friend.
ain't cool with Russia. I'm gonna need you to
Russia
understand
is not our
the difference
friend.
there.
Russia is not our friend. And this is going to be one of the most embarrassing moments in America's history, when the story is told later, when our young boys and girls that are in school right now, as they grow older, this is going to be one of the most embarrassing moments for them to recant.
Hopefully it's an outlier and it stands out.
I
and
pray.
It's not just a new situation that we now have to deal
Right.
with. Ridiculous presidents who let their cabinet and their other people do one thing and then say the opposite once they get on TV.
Right.
Because that's where all of this started.
Oh, absolutely.
His words don't ever match his supposed policy that everybo's supposed to be carrying out. And we don't believe you.
And we don't believe you. And not only do we not believe you, we don't trust McConnell, who is also part of this complicit front to protect the president from crime. And he's a co-conspirator, quite honestly, in my opinion.
McConnell is using Trump just like Putin was using him.
Absolutely.
Like, well, okay, well, we're going to get what we're going to get
Right.
while he in
While
there
he's
then,
in
I
there.
guess. You do what you want, Trump,
Right.
because
Right.
you're just spiraling. But
Absolutely.
in the
And
meantime, let me get these judges in. Let me get these votes.
that's what it's
let me
about.
do-
It's
that's
about
what
the judges. It's about the votes. You have Graham. You have McConnell.
Turning back the hands of time.
Right.
That's what they're trying to do.
Absolutely. You have Graham. Well, you have Graham. You have McConnell. They basically said, hey, I don't need to see any evidence. I don't need to see any proof.
Lindsey Graham is so conflicted. He says something different every other day.
Every other day, but the very thing
The
that
ghost of John McCain needs to start haunting him
I
on a regular
wish
basis.
if John
Just saying.
if John McCain was here, and may God bless his soul, if John McCain was here, I guarantee you it'll be a different debate on the Senate floor.
For sure.
It'll be a different, and these busters on the Senate floor, those refusing to speak up, would find a silent voice of some voice of sort to be able to at least show a sign of integrity and a sense of well-being for the American people.
Right. Like you care
Like you care.
about your own constituents.
Come on. And then you have, what is the girl's name, the lady's name? Excuse me for calling her girl, I apologize. The lady's name, the senator, she's a moderate, Susan
Collins.
Susan Collins. You know, I'm very, very disturbed that she would say that she doesn't see any wrongdoing in Donald Trump. I'm very concerned about that, because I thought she was going to be one of those with the voice of reason. No pun intended.
She probably was at some point. I mean, she was.
Yeah.
For all accounts, she was like one of the names that would keep coming up. Well, she's got a little bit of sense,
Right,
and she
right,
can see
right.
some of the. But no, I'm sure they came to her like, we've already decided. We vote lockstep.
Right.
We don't admit anything.
Right.
And the president did nothing wrong.
I don't
That's
think
the
this
talking
is
point.
so. It used to be where the Republican Party used to be the conscience of America, the soul of family values or whatnot. The Republican Party is just gone. It's the Trump party. I mean, because everybody is beholden to Trump. They're afraid that Trump is going to tweet. They're beholden to Trump.
Mm-hmm.
They are not going to say anything negative about Trump whatsoever. They have basically said, hey, here's the key to my house.
Yep.
Come on in and take what you want to Donald Trump. That's basically what they've done. And leaving hostage their constituents.
Yes.
Leaving hostage their constituents.
And with our president's conduct, it's not just this country now that is
Right.
suffering. You know,
Right.
he's just affecting the world in a negative
Yeah.
way. So
Yeah, so
he's gonna get impeached.
no, he's going to get
We're
impeached.
gonna see if he'll get removed. Doubt it.
I doubt he will be removed. We'll know by the night's end, obviously, but I believe that I don't believe that there's not going to be a single senator to vote in favor of
cross party lines.
Yeah, cross party lines, and I just don't believe that it's going to happen, and it's unfortunate, and it just shows. You know, I was looking at some polling the other day, and it says that the country is literally divided right now, 50-50, on the impeachment of the removal of the president. In fact, it was just up more 2
No,
points.
It was up now.
It was up now.
It was up now to like
It's up,
70.
Yeah, to 70. Yeah,
but
yeah.
that doesn't, I mean, that they want him impeached.
Yeah,
the
they want him
removal
impeached.
part is the up in the air part.
Yeah, which I don't understand. I mean, you want him impeached, but you don't want him removed. It's the same thing. I mean, it's you know, it's the same thing. If you impeach him, you should remove him.
They want him told he was
Otherwise,
wrong. But
right?
come on back.
Yeah, I just want
Get out of
to.
here.
I want to pop you on your hand, but I don't want you to leave the house,
Yeah,
which
no.
is a problem for me.
He needs to go.
If this guy gets away with this, you can only imagine what he will do next.
Exactly.
And that's why
Because nobody's going to run against him.
no one's going to run against him. Right. Well, the Republican Party are going to shut you down, just like they shut down the other members of Congress that came out to speak against Donald Trump. They came out and spoke again. They came out and shut them down. In fact, some decided not to run for re-election. That was a bridge too far. You can't talk about the massa.
The only ones who are trying to talk are people who are leaving.
Right.
Oh, well, since I'm leaving,
I'll
let me
come
tell
out.
the truth. Get out of here.
You know,
So you ain't been telling the truth? Goodbye, sir.
It's so interesting. No, it's your facts, because it's so interesting how you see these talking heads on these various stations of these Republicans, these retired Republicans, who are now found a voice to come out and say things about Trump that are true, that they would never have said while they were in office.
That they already knew
Right.
when they helped him get into office.
Right. It's hilarious, and it's a big problem. So I want you all to send your comments in on this, and we will respond to your comments, because this is going to go on for the next couple of hours, and we'll be debating this issue for the next couple of weeks, I'm sure. This is not the end of it. And I'm quite sure on Thursday, during the Democratic presidential debate that's going to obviously be held here in the city of Los Angeles at Loyola, I'm quite sure this is going to be up for debate and discussion there.
They need to address it.
They need absolutely to address it. So you're listening to The Intersection right here on the Voice of Reason Radio, and we're broadcasting live right here by Free TV.
Shout out to the Zo What Show.
So What Show,
We see you.
his YouTube followers. Thank you for watching us.
I asked the question. Representative Collins yesterday suggested that the Democrats are doing this simply because they don't like the guy.
That has nothing to do with it. Let me just say this.
I think it's an important
I
point.
think the president is a coward when it comes to helping our kids who are afraid of gun violence. I think he is cruel when he doesn't deal with helping our dreamers, of which we're very proud. I think he's in denial about the climate crisis. However, that's about the election. This is about the election. Take it up in the election. This is about the Constitution of the United States and the fact that leads to the president's violation of his oath of office. And as a Catholic, I resent your using the word hate in a sentence that addresses me. I don't hate anyone. I was raised in a way, a heart full of love, and always prayed for the president. And I still pray for the president. I pray for the president all the time.
She does. She'd be like, Lord.
She's gangster.
Please
and they
help
are-
this man.
Well, they have to pray for him because he's not mentally stable, right? So,
Clearly.
and the country, unfortunately, is being controlled by a guy that has some mental illness issues. Anyone that would talk the way he speaks every day through Twitter,
Every day.
harassing people, calling people by name. He's a grown man.
I don't understand how
He's a grown
they
man.
couldn't get together and
He's
like
a grandfather.
shut his Twitter down, like for real.
What is his family saying?
They're saying good job.
What is his family? There's no way. I know for sure
They're saying good job.
that
Dad.
there are some sane people in his family.
I don't know for sure.
I know God don't make everybody crazy.
Well, but they got it.
God
genetically.
blesses some people in their families. Some family folk have some sense. I don't think that everybody in that family is mentally ill. I don't think so. I think that some of them have sense. And I think that some of them are actually cringing when they see these tweets come out and they say that this is my grandfather. This is my father. This is my father. And people across the world leaders are laughing at my papa.
No, they were laughing with him.
They were laughing.
He was telling jokes and being funny, and
Oh,
everybody loves Trump.
Yeah,
so, you know,
no.
when he shows up,
Did you see those world leaders?
Hell
Did you see
yeah.
those world leaders huddling?
It was over there like,
laughing,
oh,
saying
okay. And
how
then he said,
crazy.
I said, what? Oh! He was so mad. You know, he was mad when he seen that. Oh, man.
Oh yeah, he was so upset.
They was
that-
in the huddle talking
Well,
all the smack.
He told the pilot to start the jet because he was gonna just pull out.
Well, they brought
He
up the fact that he
canceled
kept having press conferences, so he
Yeah.
was just gonna cancel the last
He
one and
can't
just fly
because
away.
he saw them laughing, and so he told them, "Hit the jet, I'm out." And he jumped on his kite and flew out of here, you know. And he was gone, just like a little kid.
And they were like,
that got
"Bye,
upset,
nobody
took
wanted
the
you
marbles
here."
and went away. Right. So Nancy Pelosi, Speaker Pelosi, is absolutely right. We need to pray for him. We need to pray for his mental health. We really do. And you know, excuse me, my mom used to say, when folks show you who they are, you got to believe it. Let the church say amen.
Amen.
Yeah, when folks show you who they are, you got to believe, this is not normal. So when folks show you who they are, you got to believe it. When people do things that shows that there's a little instability, a little, you know, you got to believe that there's a problem, you know, and quite honestly, there's some mental health issues going on.
For sure. But
Right.
the other thing that this reporter was trying to make the point with asking Nancy Pelosi this comment about does she hate the president is trying to say like we can't all hate the president and him be wrong at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, oh, the Democrats been after him since the beginning because he been wilding the whole
He's been
time.
wilding
He
the
came
whole
out like, I'm
time.
gonna do what I want, and he worked for us. So
Right.
that don't sit well with us.
Well, I like the clapback that she gave. I take offense that you.
The Nancy Pelosi.
I like the clapback. You know, it's like, hey, I take offense that you will even ask a question of me. I don't have hate in my body. What's your, I'm a devout Catholic. You know, we don't.
And I think she really does feel sorry for him. Like,
She does.
I mean, how he's acting is not because he feels good about
No,
himself.
no. And I believe Nancy, and I know Speaker Pelosi, and she doesn't have hatred in her bones like that. And I honestly think because she's a great mother, she's a great grandmother, and the same concern that she has for the well-being of her children and her grandchildren, I think she has that same concern for Donald Trump. Like that real concern if something was wrong, you know, that gut parental instinct that says
No, I
he's
think
not well,
she's
he's sick.
in office to serve our country,
Right.
and our people, and the children of our country,
Right.
And he acting like one, so he fall into that too.
Well said. Well said. I mean, what more can you say on that? I mean, he is acting like a child. So we'll see. We'll see, I think. And by the way, you know, as you know,
And you know he tried to throw it in that letter too.
Oh,
and
yeah.
she's offending religious people by
Oh,
saying she
God.
prays for me.
well, those are called dog
how you
whistles.
know? You
Yeah.
ain't religious, sir.
Yeah, he is not religious. He doesn't even know the Pledge of Allegiance and the Star Spangled Banner.
I was just thinking the other day,
know.
like, what history about America do you think he knows?
I don't think well, clearly, you remember.
Because he
even
didn't
know,
get to the Cold War.
Well, he didn't even know that Puerto Rico and all. Should I go there?
He didn't know.
Hey, you know. I mean, you know, he don't even know parts of America, you know,
True.
which is insane. But, you know, I think, you know, we need to pray for him. I know for sure that by night's end, there's going to be a litany of text messages and tweets that he's going to send. He's going to talk about the Democrats. He's going to talk about Shift. He's going to talk about Nancy Pelosi. He's going to talk about all the other people. Then he's going to talk about those brave Republicans. Those brave Republicans like Lindsey Graham and McConnell.
Which is a reminder
that
you better have my back.
That's exactly right. You know, and McConnell, that's a whole nother story. You know, anyway, that's a whole nother story. Let's move on.
Can we make between kings that the framers were afraid of and the president's conduct today?
So kings could do no wrong because the king's word was law. Heard what President Trump has said, Article 2 does not give him the power to do anything between him and a king, which is the Constitution says there can be no titles of nobility. So while the president can name his son Baron, he can't make him a baron.
Say, when you talk about how liberals want to be around each other and cluster and conservatives don't want to be around each other and so they have to spread out, it makes people, you may not see this from, you know, like the ivory towers of your law school, but it makes actual people in this country
When
feel
the
like,
president
excuse
calls
me, you don't get to interrupt me on this time. Now, let me also suggest that when you invoke the president's son's name here, when you try to make a little joke out of referencing Baron Trump, that does not lend credibility to your argument. It makes you look mean. It makes you look like you're attacking someone's family, the minor child of the President of the United States.
Mean? It makes it look like you're a mean lady when that's all these Republicans have been doing in Congress are acts of meanship, if you will. Obstructing justice, talking bad on Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden's son, Hunter. And you say it's wrong for a professor, which I don't think she meant any harm by it, but to invoke the president's family member, but they invoke the vice president's family all the time. So it's hypocritical for them to say that you can't do it, but we do it all the time.
It's hypocritical, but she walked right into that trap. She set herself up. She was on there being all kinds of flippant. I watched that hearing.
Yes, she was.
And it would have served her to have toned her excitement about sticking it to the president down just a little bit, you know what I mean? Because she had all the facts.
Yeah.
They were there to answer all the questions correctly. And then she went a little too far on a couple of times. That was one of those times. She didn't say nothing about that boy. So
No,
while
she didn't.
Melania could keep tweeting about how Trump is talking about the 16-year-old, but my
Come
13-year-old
on.
don't be around the world, like,
Right.
whatever,
Come on
Rod.
now.
Anyways, be best. But yeah, I think it would have served the Democrats, it would have served that hearing.
Right.
It would have served her testimony to not have been so emotional about it. And she did at least apologize that day, but it was too late. She had already kind of let the cat out of the bag. So she looked aggressive in that they want to, so she gave them something and they flipped it on her.
Well, they were looking for anything.
Yeah,
And she gave it to
she
She
them,
opened the door
unfortunately.
and gave them.
But she was right in what she was saying. This
Yeah.
man is trying to be a king.
Yeah, she's right. She's absolutely right, and everybody knows that. It's not a secret. They're just mad that it was said. You know, she could have said it with a little less enthusiasm.
That was the problem.
Right.
She was too like, ha ha.
Yeah. It's like, we know, we see him every day. We see his antics, we hear his antics, we see his antics every day. We know exactly what he's trying to do. We just want you to lay out the facts as you know them. And though she was very thorough in her presentation.
For sure. And I mean, also to her defense, that's got to be a stressful situation. That hearing, they all coming at you and trying, and from your ivory tower of education, fool,
From your ivory tower of the United States House of Congress, a
talking
representative, what are you
about?
talking about? You know, are you
I love
kidding?
how they try to talk like they're the everyman
Right.
when they're up there,
Right.
not being the everyman or
Right.
even caring about the everyman.
They don't.
Who voted for them?
Come on.
What's up, everyman? Stop voting for them.
Please do. Let's move on.
Trump has been messing around in the Ukraine over there, holding their foreign aid for them to come up saying they're going to investigate you. But you, on the other hand, set your son over there. Get a job and work for a gas experience with absolutely nothing. In order to get access to the public, for the president. So you're selling access to the president just like he is. So you
You're a damn liar, man. That's not true. And no one has ever said that? No one has proved that?
I see it on the TV.
You see it on the TV. No, I know you do. And by the way, that's why I'm not sedentary. I get up and no, let him go. Let him go. Look, the reason I'm running is because I've been around a long time and I know more than most people know. And I can get things done. That's why I'm running. And you want to check my shape on it, let's do push-ups together here, man. Let's run. Let's do whatever you want to do. Let's take an IQ test. Number one. Number two.
I thought it was outstanding. Hell, I mean, hey, that's Uncle Joe. You know, you're what do you say? You're
a damn liar, man. Listen up, Jack. Hey, homie.
I'm all right with that. But he listened. He allowed the guy. He didn't interrupt him. He let him go through all the gyrations and all the points. He came back and shot, "You're a damn liar." And he set the record straight. And I'm all right with all of that.
No, he didn't. He didn't set no record straight. That was a missed opportunity. That man wasn't even a Trump supporter. He was just a confused man who watches random TV and don't really understand.
He accused him.
And he was like, he said, I saw, it seems like it's the same thing. All he had to say was, it's not the same thing, and here's why, my guy. And make sure you vote for me in 2020.
So you think Biden overstepped his piece?
I think it was unnecessary to go at him so hard, but also some people want to see him be all strong and stuff. So I guess it played well into politically well for him. But I think it was a missed opportunity because he was coming at that guy. There's going to be people, like, if you want to get all the votes, you need to address people who have issues with what happened. And he's never really just, like, explained it. He just dances all around it. Like, be indignant about it.
Well,
like,
I
didn't.
Explained it. You don't think so?
No, I don't think so.
What more do you want?
He needs to be able to answer a simple question that is definitely going to come up,
Okay.
like that one. Like that
But
come
what
up.
question
How
do
he
you-
don't have no talking point, like, you know what, you're a little confused. Let me explain it to you.
So let me
Here's
ask you-
what Trump did and what they did that was wrong when they were selling, access to the president. I never sold access to the president. I was following policy. Am I running for office right now? That's all you got to do is just have a simple
But he
response.
said it several times. I've heard him say it several times.
But he didn't in that moment. All he was like, you're a damn liar. And then he was like, well, let him finish. And then he was like, I'm not going to argue with you. And then he was like, let's have a foot race and a boxing match.
I think he was probably just tired of the nonsense and the BS around a BS story that's been concocted by the Republican Party. Was it right for him to say it? Not necessarily. But I mean, at some point,
At some
people
point-
get tired, and it's hot in this studio, and I'm trying to
It is
understand
warm.
why. Just,
Because it's cold outside. It was trying to warm us up in here. I had to take my other sweater off.
I mean, I thought it was me at first because, I ran 7 miles today.
The senator ran 7 miles today.
And so,
Okay, shout out.
Yeah.
Getting back in the gym.
I'm back in
Feeling
the
real
gym.
strong.
And fighting trim.
Okay.
All them, what? I look good, I
Your
know.
sweater looking small. You must have. Muscles growing right now.
You see them thick? Oh, God.
You are listening to The Intersection on VOR Radio and Dash Radio.
I can't.
Go ahead and look up that station.
Yes. Oh, and make sure you tune in to the Democratic debate tomorrow, Thursday at 5 p.m. It's going to be broadcasting Pacific Standard Time at 5 p.m. tomorrow, Pacific Standard Time. Let's move on.
On this vote, the yeas are 228, the nays are 187. The bill is passed. Without objection. The motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
That was the reauthorization of the Voting Rights Act. Every reauthorization of the Voting Rights Act since 1965 has received bipartisan support. In 2006, 192 Republicans voted for that reauthorization. 33 voted against. Today, Republicans voted almost unanimously against the measure. The lone Republican to vote in favor was this man, Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania.
Well, first of all, I just want, before we get into that, because I want you, because I got some folks already out here talking nonsense on the screen, talking about, I didn't run 7 miles, I didn't do. Why do I have to lie to you?
See what you're doing better than Biden. We're going to address this now. Okay.
What does that say?
Right now.
What does that say?
Oh my gosh.
What does that say?
Okay.
That was today. That's the thing that you move with.
Well, do I get to be honest?
Well, look here. Okay.
It was 6.7.
6.77 miles.
Round it up.
6.7 miles. Okay? Is that right?
You ain't got hardly no steps in the lazy bot. You over here active.
I'm active.
He's active.
Yeah.
We rounding up 7
Okay.
miles.
Yeah.
I concur.
Okay, so let me tell you something. Okay? All right? If I give it to you, you know it's facts. Hashtag facts. If I give it to you, don't get jealous. Who's that out there talking, hating on the Instagrams? Britt Atwater. Hating on the Instagram. He ain't ran no 7 miles. What you doing? What you doing right now? I was up at 4:30 this morning. 4:30. I was at LA Fitness at 5 when the doors opened. Boom, in there. Boom. I was so bad, I ran 4 miles, went to the sauna, did 400 crunches. Oh, yes. Did some leg press, went right back on there and ran some more miles. That's how bad I was this morning. I got the receipt right here. You want to see the receipt?
I checked it.
Did you see the receipt?
I did.
Okay. Can you see that? You can't see it, huh? Oh, you can't see it. That's the receipt. Where is that? You see that? Boom. That's the receipt. Those are the receipts. Okay? I see you. Let's move on.
Trump weighing in after her husband attacked 16-year-old climate change activist Greta Thunberg.
World leaders are still trying to run away from their responsibilities.
President Trump lashing out after the teenager was named Time's Person of the Year. So ridiculous, he tweeted. Greta must work on her anger management problem, then go to a good old-fashioned movie with a friend. Chill, Greta, chill. And he's done it before, taking aim at Thunberg, who has Asperger's syndrome, a form of autism, after her passionate speech at the UN.
You all come to us young people for hope. How dare you?
Trump's response? She seems like a very happy young girl looking forward to a bright and wonderful future. So nice to see. Now, former First Lady Michelle Obama giving Thunberg a boost, tweeting, "Don't let anyone dim your light. Ignore the doubters and know that millions of people are cheering you on." And we're hearing from the current First Lady, who has made cyberbullying her signature issue.
Be Best, an awareness campaign dedicated to the most valuable and fragile among us, our children.
But Melania Trump's spokeswoman would only say this about the president's words. The president and First Lady often communicate differently, as most married couples do. The First Lady has been quick to object when people make comments about her own teenage son, Barron. Her spokeswoman telling CNN, this is different because Barron is not an activist who travels the globe giving speeches. He is a 13-year-old who wants and deserves privacy.
And now we saw
I
the
think
First Lady.
every child wants privacy and deserves privacy. I think every child deserves to be respected. I don't think these kids that are being bullied and tortured and killed and committing suicide want to commit suicide. Lack of respect via cyberbullying, this very same thing that this president has done. And you don't know the mental stability of these children when you have a president of the United States calling out a young child like that. You don't know the mental stability of that child, that the peril that she has to go through for the rest of her life, knowing that this guy is out here saying things about it. That could have been enough to, I don't even want to put that in the atmosphere, you know? And yet you have a first lady in the White House who's supposed to be the cyberbullying queen, the anti-cyberbullying queen, the queen of anti-cyberbullying.
Let me just say this. Remember when she stole a whole Michelle Obama speech?
Oh, God!
Because I didn't, and I bet you did, because so much has happened since then. So much has happened
Remember
since
she stole
then.
that whole speech?
She stole a whole speech from First Lady Michelle Obama, acting like it was hers.
Plagiarized.
I got a love letter like that one time. It was like a Tupac song. And I was like, hold up.
You remember?
Hold up.
What did they say? Tell me.
I don't remember what it was. But I remember I was like, you plagiarized this.
But did it at least sound good?
No, not even. I was mad. I was offended. But they just are so hypocritical.
It's not right.
It doesn't make any kind of sense.
It's not right.
Like, he's so irresponsible. He just says whatever he wants as if it doesn't have the weight that it has. And that's the problem, is that he abuses his power. He misuses his power on a regular basis.
That's why we're in this
and
situation.
with every chance he can.
That's why we're in a situation.
He couldn't just let this girl live her life?
Live her life. Now she's going to have to see this and hear this, you know, each and every day. But I love her clapback too, because she reposted his nonsense.
She reposted his nonsense. She
Yeah.
changed her Twitter bio to
Yeah.
include it, saying
Yeah.
she's currently chilling with friends
Right.
and watching
Yeah,
a movie or
hey,
something.
that's
like,
right.
and getting tweeted by the president.
I love every bit of it, and congratulations to her for being so outstanding.
real.
And I hope that she is a prosperous young girl. I know that she's going to have a bright future, and I pray God's blessings upon her. And I hope that she is not tainted or feel less than because of the words from the guy that's living on Pennsylvania Avenue. I mean, real talk, you know. So in all of your efforts, let's move on.
I just read that in the teleprompter. Y'all gonna quit doing this to me.
This year's Miss Universe pageant has left some fans scratching their heads. While Steve Harvey was announcing the winner of the National Costume Contest, it appeared he made a blunder when he named Miss Philippines as the winner, showing a photo of the competitor in a white angelic outfit. But the woman next to him was wearing a noticeably different costume, and she made sure to tell Steve about his blunder.
It's not Philippines, it's Malaysia.
While Steve joked and apologized for the mistake, it turns out he actually didn't make one. Miss Philippines was the winner, as the Miss Universe pageant later clarified in a tweet. But the tweet did not explain why Miss Malaysia was on stage with Steve at the time. Yikes! Viewers were automatically brought back to 2015, when Steve mistakenly announced the winner of the Miss Universe pageant as Colombia. Minutes later, after already crowning Colombia as the winner, Steve admitted he had misread the card, and the winner was actually the Philippines. The moment went down in history.
Well,
I wouldn't have hosted again.
You know, I got to give props to my frat brother.
He didn't make the mistake this time.
He didn't make the mistake.
Landed on him.
He just said, hey, this time it wasn't my fault.
It wasn't.
You know, so, you know, my frat brother is a great reader. You know.
Now for sure he is. 'Cause he brushed up since last year. That was the pageant's fault. They had called Malaysia to come and be like the display
Right.
of costumes, since they were going to be talking about costumes. Well, tell that girl that.
Yeah,
Because
right.
she thought that she was up there because she won. And then he was about to be like, and here you go.
No, baby, you didn't win.
But no, he was announcing. And then the Philippines didn't even like show. They just showed a picture of her.
Right.
So it was just all
Right.
weird and strange. And that was they mess up.
Well,
and
they
they
should
owe
already-
Malaysia and Steve Harvey an apology.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you already know that people are watching and looking for error in this. So it should be buttoned up properly. You know, you shouldn't be half-buttoned, right?
You know, they have tons of rehearsals for, like,
I mean, apparently it wasn't buttoned up right.
Clearly.
Because this was a disaster. Yet another disaster. You know, but I like Steve's piece. He was like, hey, this wasn't me this time. Y'all ain't blaming this on me.
Nah, but having him thinking that he messed up again on live TV like that is so shady. Like, oh, am I reading? Am I reading this wrong? Because Malaysia and Philippines don't look the same on paper at all.
No. I don't understand it. But he was pissed. He played it off. I love him to death, but he was pissed.
No, he did good. He handles, live situations
pressure,
fairly
right.
well.
Yeah. He was pissed, but he did it. And he's going to come back next year and try to make sure things are perfectly fine again. But I can assure, but you always got to, right? You always have to. When you're doing things, you always have to leave room for error, right? So nothing's perfect, so especially when you're on live TV.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard doing live television. It's hard doing live radio, I mean, we mess up all the time. You just don't know it because we're so damn good about it.
Sometimes You are listening to The Intersection on Voice of Reason Radio, live on Dash Radio. And we are recording live from livefree.tv out here in Inglewood.
Inglewood.
With a very controversial history of segregation, U.S. beauty pageants are having a revolutionary season. And the last week, you guys, two women, 20-year-old Chesley Christ and 18-year-old Carolee Garris, joined 25-year-old Nia Franklin. The trio are marking the first ever group of Black women to all wear the crown of major American beauty pageants at the same time. That makes me so excited.
It's a monumental kind of moment here. And Chesley Christ, who's a lawyer from Charlotte, North Carolina, won the Miss USA title last Thursday.
Man, that was amazing.
And we can add Miss Universe to the list of
That's
Black
right.
women holding major titles.
How did, as a black woman, how did that make you feel?
It's nice. It's a good feeling, but it's, you know, when somebody does right, you know what I mean? Like, okay, of course. Of course we would win.
You're like, of course, and it should have happened a long time ago.
It's got to be on rotation.
Hey. I think
Keep it
it's
coming.
great, So I was listening to, what's her first name? Last name Hall, of course, on the show. Tamara Hall. And I was listening to her show. I don't watch the show often, but I was watching it yesterday. And they were all on there. And one of the girls, Tamara asked one of the girls the question, one of the ladies a question. She was like, what did this mean for you, and has it set in? And she says, no, it hasn't set in. It didn't set in until I was reading some of the messages on her Instagram where this young girl told her mother, Mom, now that I see her, she looks just like me. Now and I think that I can be just like her.
Yep.
And there's hope for me too. And that's when she said she realized that she is now setting a standard for others.
Representation matters.
Representation
Seeing
matters.
somebody who looks like you, even, not
Right.
a carbon copy, but just that it's okay
Right.
for somebody who looks similar to you to hold that kind of thing, even though we might know that.
Right.
It really matters once you see it. The same thing happened with, President Obama.
Oh, yeah, for
Like,
sure.
My brother, who's 15, was born to see a Black president.
That's
and
something.
so that's an option for him. You know
Right,
what I mean?
right,
Like, I didn't
right.
grow. I mean,
Right.
white dudes be presidents.
Right.
So it really does matter. Representation matters because it opens your eyes to options that you didn't think we're available to you before. So
It's called equality. Something that we're fighting right now in America.
which is something that you got to keep active at.
Yeah. And the war is not over. The war in equality and of equality, right? It's not over. And we have to keep reminding that ball, right?
Mm-hmm.
That, we still got to keep fighting for this.
And we need to know our history. We don't repeat our history.
Come on now.
So.
And we don't need to go back.
Exactly.
Like some are trying to take us right now. We don't need to go back.
We ain't hopping on no boats. And
Right.
none of that,
Hey, no, I don't swim, so I'm not getting on the boat anyway.
no shackles on these feet.
Well, I mean, I don't swim. I can survive. So I ain't getting on no boat going back. You ain't taking me back. This land is my land. This land is my land. You remember that?
This land is your
Yeah.
land from California.
To where? Yeah. Hey, so I ain't going nowhere. I'm in Cali. I'm born, raised, and gonna stay right here. I ain't getting on no boat. Let's move on. What?
We out of clips.
Oh, let me say this. Something happened yesterday or day before yesterday. I think it was Georgia, right?
Yes.
345 votes were purged from the voter roll.
Yeah, voters.
Voters.
They took 4% of the voting population in Georgia, or at least the registered voters.
Registered
who are already
voters. These are voters.
Took them off the list because they were inactive. So what they're doing is trying to instate some use it or lose it type of thing with your voter rights and registration. We all have the right to register to vote and then not vote if we don't feel like it, because this is America. Like, what?
Yeah. And so
they're just taking people's rights. So those people, maybe they want to vote now. Also, sometimes you don't vote because your vote literally might not matter because things are going in a certain direction. You know what I mean? Maybe
That's
you
right.
check the polls and you're like, I don't need to because we all vote in this way anyways. And in those cases, maybe those people weren't voting.
And
now
that's
it's going to
fine.
matter. Exactly. Now it's going to really matter. So maybe
Well,
they
it's
want to
strict-
jump in,
it
but
was
they're going to find out they're not. Of
Come
course
on,
it
Nikki,
is.
you know it was intentional. Because the Georgia race, when Stacey Abrams was running for governor, the votes, she lost by a couple thousand votes.
Yep.
Right? So it's so close to flipping Democratic. Yep. And so now they take 300 and some odd votes out, right? Mm-hmm. Which means that they have set the Democrats back from taking over Georgia or winning Georgia, turning Georgia blue, basically. Mm-hmm. So it was strategic. The same thing happened in Wisconsin, where there was close to 240,000 votes in Wisconsin that was purged as well. And we're giving you this because it's important for you, the viewers and the listeners, to know what's going on. We laugh and we joke on this show, but this is serious business that's happening that we're trying to convey to you. This is a serious problem. And it's the same thing, in my opinion, that they're going to try to do in Florida as well. You have Georgia, you have Wisconsin, and I believe they're going to try to do the same thing in Florida. So
yeah, Republicans have been doing this since the beginning of time. Carve up the votes so that it makes who doesn't respond. Okay, let's do this, and then it's just ridiculous. That's why you need to stay vigilant. For sure.
Stay vigilant.
And also shout out to Stacey Abrams because she did also file, I think, an emergency stay on that action to purge those voters because that's ridiculous and I'm out of focus.
So before we go, because I think we have just a few more minutes. We're getting signals. Before we go, the Oprah Winfrey and, that whole deal that's going on, okay? Where you have some in the industry saying that Oprah is only talking about black people. She's not talking about white people when it comes to abuse and things like that. I don't fall on the side where I think Oprah is only talking about black guys, right? I think Oprah is talking about the epidemic of this that's going on whether you're black, white, blue, or green. I think we have individuals who are not mature in their knowledge, who don't understand the bigger picture and the bigger scale of what's going on in this Me Too movement.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so you got, was it 50? Was it 50 that came
50
out?
Cent, yeah.
50 Cent came out, and then a couple of others came out saying that, you know, she's not talking about any white men, she's only talking about black men. Do you really think Oprah would try to intentionally tear down men like that? I don't.
And, you know, the other point is...
Wait! Excuse me, you think so? Both of you?
But one thing that I will say because, you know, we may sometimes forget, but Oprah's black. And she's had her own personal experiences. So she might just be talking about from her own experience.
A black man.
All her audience is white, but,
Right.
you know, she might just be talking from her own experience. I don't know.
Right.
I mean, but it could also be another, you know, Bill Cosby, look at you down there type of situation too on a high horse. So I don't know.
Oprah on
I
a
ain't
high
gonna call
horse?
it. Could Oprah be on a high horse? Of course she could.
Wait a minute. What do you say? What? I mean, I know you don't have a mic, but what are you saying? What are you saying?
Shit, people pay her. The white man pays her, so it's like she has to, like, a lot of things that happen. It's a lot.
Hold up. Nobody controlling Oprah.
No, but if it was a case,
Nobody controlling Oprah.
She's not doing exposés on Harvey Weinstein and nobody else, right? Ain't nobody getting no docuseries, no.
She's not docuseries Harvey. She's not doing Trump.
Yeah, she does.
She's not doing none of her white.
Why are all the black people here ganging up on me for having a position?
Yeah, ask the question.
all the black people ganging up on me.
I don't know.
We're gonna see how this pans out. There's a big to do on this issue, so we'll see how it pans out.
The other thing is she could just be completely removed from the community and feel outside of it as well. So it could be a little bit of otherizing for that. And it don't just have nothing to do with her necessarily being beholden to the white man, but this woman got money that none of us can touch. And that leaves her on a tier of her own. So she could be feeling that way.
So let me just say this, and you're right. I came here, can you get me my vest, please, my sweater? I came here today with a Christmas sweater on because I wanted to wish everyone a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And to tell everyone to have a very safe and blessed Christmas. So I came here, I went and bought a nice sweater, and I had it here. I had it here. Isn't that nice?
What's wrong with that cat?
Well, I couldn't wear, the cat?
Is it okay?
I don't.
It's spazzing.
You guys ain't right. How am I turning this?
No, that way. Just against you, because it'll disappear.
Oh, just me? Yeah. So I was gonna wear it, but then we have a green screen, and they told me I couldn't. The producer said I couldn't wear it.
The green on green.
Because it'll bleed, and it'll look like
Yeah,
the only thing
ghost.
you would see was a cat on me. And as a Q doll, that ain't happening. So anyway, Merry Christmas to all of you. We wish you a very Merry Christmas, and please be safe. Do not drink and drive. If you're out here drinking, make sure you take Uber, Lyft, or whatever transportation systems out there for you to do, or walk. But please make sure you're very safe and careful.
Mm-hmm. And try not to stress too much over the holidays. It can be a very stressful time for a lot of people and a triggering time in these hard times. So love each other. Be nice to people. People trying to get their last minute gifts.
Yeah.
Let somebody go in front of you when you're driving. You feel me? Like, do good.
And by the way, I have decided, I told my family, I know it's time to go, but I told my family that I am not buying Christmas gifts this year. I'm just going to show my love. I give all year long, and so I'm going to be the gift. So I'm going to wrap myself up under a tree and say Merry Christmas to everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Love you guys. Hey, by the way, thanks for tuning in. to the intersection. You're listening to The Voice of Reason on Dash right here live on vibefree.tv. We'll see you this time, same time next year. God bless you.